Welcome back everyone, I'm Danny the Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to draw a Tyrannosaurus Rex Skull. So the equipment we're going to be using for this video is a pencil, an eraser, and a pen. And make sure you have some paper as well. So yeah, let's dive right in. So I'm just going to be using the pencil for the outline, and then for the rest of the drawing we'll be using pen. So let's go ahead and put that outline in. We're going to be drawing like a large oval for the top of the T-Rex skull. Draw it very lightly now, you don't want to draw the lines too deep into your paper because then it'll be hard to erase them. Then let's put a rough outline for the bottom jaw. With the pencil, it doesn't really matter how sloppy you get because you can always erase it as long as you keep the lines drawn lightly. So right now I'm just like playing around, trying to get the proportions right. I can erase some of that oval now. And a little bit here. Try and get the desired shape I want. It's obviously going to be a little bit thinner in the snout part of the skull. Then the skull gets much wider at the back. It's going to have its cavities, the eye cavity here, the ear cavity, that middle cavity to lessen the weight in the skull. It's going to have teeth, thick bottom jaw, very thick at the back. That'll get thinner as it gets near the front. And of course the teeth, which we will put in later. So I'm pretty satisfied with how this outline looks. I think we can move on to the next stage and use our pen. So we are going to be working from left to right since I'm right-handed. And yet we're going to start off by putting in this curved line, which will go upwards, then curve back. Then it's going to slant down very, very slightly, then come up again here where the brow ridge would be, and then it's going to slope down back here, curve inwards, back outwards. Remember to go slowly to ensure you don't make any mistakes, because when you're doing it with pen there is very little forgiveness. So we're going to slope our line down. It's going to be the widest at the bottom point here. Okay, so let's put in the nose cavity. Nice and round like so. Take one line, slant it downwards, then curve backwards. Draw like a backward C. Then do a larger backward C up here. Then we have this line slanting up. This is the largest cavity in the T-Rex skull. And the reason T-Rex has this cavity is that the skull would be so heavy if it didn't have it that the neck would not be able to support it. And I always like to draw a little bit of the back, or like the other side of the skull to give it more of a 3D look. And I'm going to be using a Sharpie pen for some of the shading in parts, which I failed to mention at the beginning of the video. But if you don't have one, you can just color it in with your pen like that. Okay, so we're drawing the last cavity back here, which I always thought looked like a phone. It really looks like one of those old, one of those wire phones that are not around anymore. Okay, so with my Sharpie, I'm going to be coloring in all of these cavities. Speed up the process. It would be a little bit slow doing it with the 0.4 Arteza pen. Okay, nice and colored in. Let's carefully color in the other side. And then lastly, color in the nostril hole there. Okay, so the next step we're going to be doing is the teeth. So the teeth on T-Rex are pretty big. They're all different sizes. So I like to draw like one big one, and then one little one, then one big one. And right now we're going to be at the point where the teeth are the longest. And then they will very quickly get smaller and then end right about there. Okay, so what else can we do on the top jaw? I like to draw like a little dimple here above each of the teeth. It'll make your skull look a little bit more realistic. Like so. Okay, so let's move on to the bottom jaw. We'll add a little bit more detail and shading later. But yeah, let's just get the basics put down first. So the bottom jaw is going to curve down and get pretty straight the rest of the way. It's going to curve slightly backwards and downwards. Then it's going to curve up a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit thinner here at this point. Then it's going to get very wide. T-Rex had like one of the widest bottom jaws of the carnivorous theropods. Okay. It's going to draw like a snaky line here. This place is going to be shaded in. It's going to have a small cavity right about there. So again, we can shade that in. And then let's put in the teeth. And then we're also going to add teeth to the other side. As well as we're going to be adding the other half of the bottom jaw. So the teeth on the bottom jaw are going to be slightly smaller. And will end a little sooner than the ones at the top. So very carefully we're going to draw the other side of the bottom jaw in between these teeth. And then we can go ahead and shade that in with our pens. It'll be a little bit too risky to do it with the Sharpie. And then we can draw in the teeth on the other side, which will be shaded in. Now let's go ahead and draw the teeth on the other side of the top jaw. Remember, not every tooth is going to be showing, because some of them will be blocked by the teeth on this side. That looks pretty good. And then yeah, let's shade those in. And do the same on the bottom jaw. Okay, so we've completed that step, and next I just want to let our ink dry a bit before we erase our pencil marks and continue on to the next stage. Now that we've erased all the pencil marks, we can begin putting in a little bit more detail. So the top jaw and the bottom jaw are divided into different sections, and each section has a different name. So the first one we're going to put in is called the jugal. So let's draw a line up like so, line through here, a line going up like so, and one line curving that way and then curving back like so. So the area inside these lines is called the jugal, and if you find the jugal bone, you can determine the size of the theropod dinosaur's skull. That's a very interesting fact. So if you just found this part of the skull, a professional paleontologist could find out exactly how large the dinosaur's skull was. Okay, so let's move on with our drawing. We're going to now put in the quadratojugal, which is back here. So this back part is called the quadratojugal. Then there's a little part back here, which is called the occipital. And then there's the squamosal, which is this back piece right here. Then this top part is called the posterbital. Then there's a little piece that sticks up at the back of the head that's called the parietal. Okay, so this main section up here, in front of the eye, is called the lacrimal. Then there's the nasal, which is the section that leads up to the nostril. Then the front portion, the very tip of the snout, is called the premaxilla, and this large section is called the maxilla. So there we go. The bottom jaw is going to have one line that goes through here. I forgot to color this in, but we're gonna shade that in real quick. So this is the dentary, as in like dentists, because the teeth. Then there's one other section, so the bottom jaw only has three sections. And this section is the angular, and this is the surangular. So there we go. I named all the different parts on the dinosaur skull. But yeah, let's get back to the artistic side of things. And I'm going to be taking out my Sharpie again, shading in this side of the bottom jaw. I'm going to put a little bit more shading in between the two jaw bones. And this section right here is going to be heavily shaded. Just add a few lines here at the bottom section of the lower jaw, just to give it more shape. Draw your lines nice and close together. This back knob I'm going to shade a little bit heavier. And then yeah, each section here we're going to add a little bit of shading around the edge, just to show some roundness. So just do as I do, and I'm sure it'll turn out great. I'm going to make this brow ridge a little bit rougher in texture. So as you guys notice, I'm just shading one side of each of these cavities. I'm not like shading both sides because the light is going to be coming from, I guess, this direction, pointing down and sort of to the right. So this section can be shaded in a little bit because it's mostly going to be covered from the light. Then let's see, I added a few of these lines. You can add a few more just to show the shape of the jaw. A little bit of shading here at the very bottom of the lip. And I guess this area would be a little bit shaded too, because there's going to be shadow cast from the top jaw. So put some shading there. A little back here. The jaw is looking pretty good so far. You might want to darken the lines a bit that separate the different skull parts. So I think our skull is looking pretty good. There's a few more things we could do now that I'm thinking about it. You can add just a little bit more roughness up to the whole top section here. Then you can also add a little bit more of these little dimples, just little specks on the side of the skull. Because bones often are like sponges, they have lots of little holes. So adding a few of those will make the drawing look a little bit more realistic. So yeah, we're pretty much done. I'm just looking at a few spots, trying to see what else I can add to make the drawing look a little bit better. I've drawn skulls before, but I really haven't done one in a long time, so I'm out of practice currently. So I'm very happy I did this video. I think somebody commented in the last few weeks that I should draw a dinosaur skull, but I forget who it was. Okay, so right now I'm going to sign my drawing because I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks. I'll just sign it here in the corner. And guess what, guys? We're signing 2020. Today is January 1st of 2020. So happy New Year's, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video or found it helpful, leave it a like, share it with any friends who you think might enjoy it, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you again so much for watching.